Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the Doctor of Flow, and I am here with the big guy as usual, Matt Vi. Matt, how's it going?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. You know I'm doing fantastic, Ben. Yeah, doing super good. Doing super good.
I love.
How are you doing today? You doing good?
Whoa, guys.
The balance is
First
off.
time ever.
It's not the first time
What do I
ever.
do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm doing awesome. Excuse me. I'm doing absolutely spectacular myself, and I could give you a laundry list of reasons why, but that's not what this podcast is all about.
Laundry list.
This podcast,
it kind of is about laundry list. We do a lot of lists on here.
We do a lot of lists on here, but that's because people like lists.
Is that why?
I think so. I think people like a list. I think that they like to feel, at least our listeners, right? They like to feel achieved.
Yep.
Right. They like to say, you know what? Check that off the list.
Yep.
I got that done today. And I think that's why. But
also gives them an option of what fits them best.
Yeah, out of all the lists I've ever made, I've never freaking had a laundry list.
Really?
Yeah, like I don't know what is a laundry? Where did that even originate? What is a laundry like?
Yeah, you take your laundry somewhere and you drop it off, and you need a list of what you dropped off so you can pick it back up.
Oh, that's what that is.
I would assume, yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, I don't really ever get anything dry cleaned or anything, so
right.
That's probably why.
Well, all we wear is T-shirts. What would we get dry cleaned?
That's
you
what I'm
don't dry
saying.
clean a T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's a little pretentious, man.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need to dry clean it. I just do because I can.
That's right. That way I can use my laundry list.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, enough about laundry, right? Let's get to the good. Let's get to the good.
Let's get to the list.
Matt, tell us a little bit about what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so we've been talking, of course, a lot about business planning, right? In our mastermind groups, we're talking a lot about it. We had Master Recruiting Series yesterday. That we did that. That was good. It was so live. Good. Yep. And so we talked a little bit about what to track, what to keep up with, how to look forward into your planning, right?
Yep.
So those all of those things boil down to making sure that you're keeping track of certain things without getting overwhelmed, right? Brokers are overloaded already. We know that.
Yes.
Right. So the more efficient we can be in what we're doing, the more likely we are to be able to succeed with doing it. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about we're going to talk about lead sources and lead quality a little bit, and what to focus on with that from you as a broker, as a recruiting standpoint, but also as an agent, if you're out there selling, or if you're coaching your agents, what to kind of look for without you or them getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, I love it. Guys, I don't really ask a lot of favors. I'm going to ask a favor of every one of our listeners. This has been something that Matt and I have been thinking about. And when it comes to our content, right, we are constantly thinking about you guys and what you want to hear and that kind of stuff. Leading into 2023 coming up, right around the corner, and of course, wanting to finish the rest of the year, we've been talking a lot about what do we feel like the brokers out there are going through, and how do they feel, and that kind of stuff. And Matt used the word overloaded.
Mm-hmm.
I would absolutely, it would just mean the world to me if each one of our listeners, or just the ones who like me, will say, would send me an email. This is just go straight to me, ben@prospectboomerang.com, and just tell me are you overloaded? Because what I want to know is that are we in the right direction of the content that we're coming? If you're not overloaded and you're like, no man, I got so many hours in my day that's not even funny,
then why aren't you recruiting?
Number one, why are you recruiting? I'm trying to be nice about this. But if you have so much time, then man, we may be producing the wrong content, coming up.
Right.
But if you are, please let us know. I would love to know why you feel recruited, why you feel overloaded, and if you feel overloaded,
and then why you feel overloaded.
Why if you do. Because we'll just make an episode about that. Right. We will make sure that we get your questions answered. But please do me a favor if you're listening to this. Send me an email. Pause it right now. Ben@prospectboomerang.com, and just say, I am overloaded or I'm not overloaded.
Right.
That's fine.
And here's why.
Yeah, that if you value our podcast, I would really appreciate that because again, the easiest way for us to find out, what it is that you guys want to hear sometimes is just ask.
Yeah, and so like Master Recruiting Series and podcast and the Mastermind groups and the articles that we write and the blog post and the we met with somebody yesterday and they said. We'd love for you to guest blog, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I said, well, what do you want us to talk about? And they said recruiting, right? Mm-hmm. Well, shit, recruiting's a big world,
exactly.
And
Right.
and so they're in the recruiting space, right? They're a very well established recruiting, offer something in the recruiting space, and so. We want to make sure that the content out there is stuff that if you're going to take a minute to dig into it, that you get a benefit from it.
That's exactly right. So guys, do that. And hit that like, subscribe button while you're there. I'm not even going to go into the rest of the spiel. That's how important that one ask is for me. So Matt, let's just dive in right into the topic. And I heard something vibrating. I was like, what is this? Is it me?
Yeah, it's my phone.
We're gonna dig into to leads. We're gonna talk specifically about quality and sourcing.
Yep.
Are we talking about buyer seller leads? Are we talking about recruiting leads? Let's define the leads we're talking about first, or are we talking about both? Just let me know.
Yeah, we're talking about all of that. Okay.
Yep.
So what we're actually talking about is making sure that we're getting the right quality of leads from the right places. Mm-hmm. And the only way that we're going to do that is if we take a step back and look, one, at what we define as a lead.
Yep.
Okay. And two, as what we focus on that we want as a lead. So if we're doing any kind of business planning going forward with our business, either you as the broker who you want to do a certain amount of sales next year, or you want to recruit a certain number of people next year, or you want to coach a certain number of people next year, and you want your agents to do a certain number of people number of transactions next year. Whatever it is, you have to have a benchmark to start with.
Yeah.
And that benchmark to start with. Now, we know that agents don't want leads, they want transactions. Everybody listening out there, please understand that. People don't want leads. They are sold leads. Leads are what consume their time, it consumes their effort, it distracts them. That's what leads do, okay? Yeah. What they would rather have is closings.
Yeah, you know that.
Okay. So the same thing goes for brokers when it comes to recruiting, right?
Absolutely.
They don't want to talk to 9,000 people. That's right.
Yep.
They don't want to talk to 9,000 people and then, right? Okay, so they want to be able to pick the ones that are the right ones. So there's something to do with quality of leads. And is directly associated with the sourcing.
Yeah.
Okay. How you source them, not the source.
Okay. Well, I got to ask. My next question then. What the hell does that mean?
Right. Okay. So the source is that I buy them from somewhere.
Okay.
Right. Okay. The sourcing is how do you decide where you're going to get those leads from? You have enough information from enough different places that you're going to go, okay, where am I going to focus on to get these leads?
So the source is based on the decision of your sourcing.
Correct. That's correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So now you're taking a look at all of sourcing is a big picture of where all the leads are coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So now you're taking a look at that and you're breaking it down into the individual source.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to make sure that we know, first of all, which one of those that you're actually leaning into. Yeah. Are you leaning into it for yourself for sales as an agent? Are you leaning into yourself for as a broker for recruiting?
Yep.
Or is it your agents? Okay. Because two of those, the numbers should be easy for you to get. If they're not, shame on you.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of those, you kind of should expect some of your agents, probably 20% of your agents are going to have a grip on that. The other 80% of the agents aren't going to have a grip on that.
Absolutely.
So where you start with that, let's do the easy thing first. You talk about in your sales meeting, hey guys, we know we're going into business planning. We know everyone knows that you want to be able to spend as little time getting the best possible results. Everybody knows that,
yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
In order to do that, if you would go back and print out your MLS list last year of all your closed transactions, and get the property address, put the buyer and seller's names next to it, whichever one was your client. Just make a small note of where they came from.
Yeah.
And I'd like for everybody in here to do that over the next 7 to 10 days. Give them plenty of time to do that. Then you start going through your people and you start asking them, hey, did you make the list? Let's talk a little bit about it. Are there more people that we can dig into to get more business from them? Okay. One of our clients did something similar to this. Remember, she went into her sales meeting, right? Kathy went into her sales meeting and said, hey guys, what I'd like for us to do is I'd like for us to dig into to try to get one more transaction this year per person closed before the end of the year. She did this about 2 weeks ago. This is coming out in October. Okay.
Yep.
And so in the very beginning, she was concerned. She goes, I don't know how many people are going to want to do that. And people typically slow down during that time of the year and everything. She went to her agents and they were all like, yeah, let's do it. And then she went around the room and said, where'd you get your last couple of transactions from? And as she went around the room and people, it started sparking in other people where they got their last transactions from.
Yeah.
Right. So now all of a sudden, some of the people were like, oh, yeah, I bet I could call that person. Or, oh, that's a great idea. I do have an investor that was looking. Maybe they do want to buy something at the beginning of the year. So all of a sudden, taking a look at the sourcing with everyone collectively allowed some people to identify a potential source.
Yeah.
You follow me?
Absolutely.
And so
yeah, some people may have zero sources.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because they don't have any transaction yet. Right. But that doesn't mean they don't have sourcing.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so she went around the room and did that, and the cool thing was it excited everybody, kind of ignited, right? So you start with your agents by going, okay, where did you get business from? What'd you close? Where'd you get it from? Tell them to go to the MLS and then share that kind of in a sales meeting type of atmosphere if you can. If you got a Facebook group, that's a great place to do it. Everybody, you need to make sure that they're getting a lot of emotional compensation in that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that. Okay. So that's the agents. That can go into coaching. We can talk a little bit more about that some other time. Okay. Now let's go to you as the broker. All right. So you as the broker, we're going to break it down into two sides. Okay. Buyers and sellers, and we're going to end the recruiting. Okay. If you're in a treadmill right now, okay, just think this through. But as soon as you get to a piece of paper, I want you to write it down. If you're in front of a desk right now, I want you to write it down. Make a note right now on the podcast. Click and add the note to it so that you remember this, so you can go back and listen to this. What you need to do is you need to at this point make a decision on your sales and on your recruiting. What percentage of your leads next year need to be on both sides of that?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Like as an individual.
As an individual, as a broker, owner of a company. If all you want is 10% of your leads and 10% of your business and 10% of your new revenue to come from the recruiting side, that's okay. But be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you want to not have to work for every commission dollar that comes into the coffers, if you want a piece of that company dollar from other people, don't be complacent with the commission dollars that you have right now. Talking to Diana yesterday on in the Mastermind class, that was a staggering stat, right? Oh. She said, so they look at a ton of information from a lot of MLSs. I don't even know how many MLSs.
I know I know they're
hundreds
in every state.
Yes,
at least.
In every state, there's hundreds and hundreds of MLSs that they're part of.
100%.
Okay, and a brokerage on average across all of those loses 20% or 21% of their production every year.
Yeah, their volume.
Right. And so take a look at and that's without a down market. That's not a market. That's people leaving.
Yeah, that's people leaving. Yeah,
okay.
Walk out. 20% of your business walks out the door.
Hey guys, this episode of the Brokerpreneur podcast is brought to you by the Speculo Group. The Speculo Group is the turnkey solution for agent and brokerage lead generation. With a focus on generating the highest quality leads from platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook, and more, the Speculo Group is your one-stop shop to dominating your local market and beyond. Visit their website for more information at thespeculogroup.com.
And this isn't some arbitrary stat that's gathered some arbitrary way. Okay. Yeah. This is them saying, look at all of these brokerages.
Hard numbers.
And on average, how much of that? 20%. Okay. So now take a close look. What do most brokers do in that situation? Man, if I lose that 20% and I was profitable and I could take all of my commissions home and put them in my pocket before, if I lose 20% because of that's what's just typically happening throughout that, and I'm not replacing it with some other percentage of revenue, now I get 20% less of my money. So if last year I took home 100% of all of my commissions, and I don't do anything about it, I'm taking home 80% this year. Yeah. Next year I'm taking home 60%, right? So you have to start paying attention to that recruiting side and adding some things back in there and getting your agents individually productive.
Yeah.
So in all the business planning that we're talking about, I'm begging people to not be focused on leads, and yet here we are talking about leads, right?
Exactly.
But the reason why we're talking about this is because it's the quality and the sourcing which helps you step into that arena of having closings and having hires, which is what we actually want, right? Okay. So I didn't mean to get abstract on that and get off the rails. Okay. But
there you go.
So a couple of things. So write down how much of my business, how much of my new leads in business do I want from sales, and how much of it do I want from recruiting? Write those numbers down. Okay. And then go back and historically look at last year. How much of that did I do last year? Okay. How much of my business was, how much of my company dollar, how much of the money that came in from a revenue, net operating income, or revenue standpoint, how much of that came in from new agents that were hired to my brokerage?
Yeah.
On the recruiting side, and then how much of your money did you pull out of your pocket to put in the company bank account in order to keep things moving the way that it needed to be moving, right?
Yeah.
Take a look at both of those things and see how many leads that takes in order to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what would be their next step once they did that?
Yeah. So they're going to take a close look at what lead sources gave them the best results.
Right.
Okay. So
then they're just going to say, like, hey, I'm going to go double down on this one, right?
That's exactly right.
Pull my sourcing.
That's right.
So basically they're all becoming like sorcerers. Sorceresses.
Sorceresses.
I don't know how you say that.
Witches.
Yeah, witches. They just have swords in it. So essentially, they're just saying, like, where did the revenue come from?
Right.
Where did I use my sourcing, and and it wasn't a great source. Take it from that.
Yeah.
And then
so breaking it down really, just really granular basically. Mm-hmm. Okay. So let's say that they're 50-50. Yep. Half of their revenue that came in was from the new hires. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's just say hires. Excuse me. Let's just say company dollar. Okay. From their agents. Half of the revenue that came in from the brokerage was that way, and half of the revenue that came in was out of their pocket. My gosh, I hope that's not the case for some of the brokers.
Are you talking about like their own selling?
Their own selling.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hope that's not the case, but
please no.
Yeah. Let's say that that's the case. Your selling, if you don't lean into where you got that business from, that 20% is going to hurt you next year. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
especially if the market drops, because then your selling is going down as well.
Absolutely. So that's the point here. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
So let's say that you're only contributing 10%, right? You literally pay yourself on whatever split you pay yourself on, and that's the only thing that goes into the coffers for paying your bills, and you're still profitable, right?
Yeah.
So you're able to pay yourself like an agent, and you have a commission split, and then other agents putting money in are helping take care of the company financially. I love that. That's fantastic. But with that being said, how are you replacing those agents that are doing that for you? Where did those agents come from? Now, a lot of times, if people are not actively recruiting, a lot of times where that comes from is their current agents met somebody in a transaction, or they told somebody, or they said, Billy Bob, or they're out selling the broker themselves, and they bump into somebody, hey, you should come talk to me, right?
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff, is customarily how that happens if you're not actively recruiting.
Right.
If you're actively recruiting, where did those people come from? How did you identify them? Did you use a book club? Are you using yard signs to co-ops and right and events, challenges, things like that? How are you getting in front of those people? All of those things are going to matter, knowing which one that you need to do more of to succeed at a higher level.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. Pick the source that's going to help you add to the right part of your business that actually needs you to protect it going forward. Yeah. You follow me?
Yeah, be a business owner.
Absolutely. Be an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah, exactly. Be a brokerpreneur.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I love it.
Yep.
Well, guys, we talked, yesterday in our first ever master recruit, our first relaunch of the new master recruiting series, about recruiting, and a lot of really cool things that you need to think of as far as when it comes to exactly what we're talking about. We're going to start doing one of those a month. They are live only. It's no replays. And our clients, we give them the replay, that kind of thing. But still, all of our listeners are more than welcome to attend. Just know, pardon me, that I'm going to start putting the registration link to those master recruiting series in the description below. And so every episode, check that out. Take a look for it, and it'll make sure you get connected to the next one, because again, it's a really cool environment. Just like we were talking about earlier, with emails and that kind of thing, to not only have Matt be right there, guiding you through the different things that we're talking about, but you're live and we can bring you on there. You can ask questions. And or you can ask them in the chat if you're super shy like I am. Mm-hmm. And I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Yeah, we had people reach out this morning that we've never met before, right? That heard about it through the podcast and said, "Hey, I came in late, right? Yeah. Can I get the other part of that, because I loved what was happening and everything." And so from a big picture standpoint, it is it's an experiential mastermind is the best way to look at it, right? And so we want you in there asking questions. We want you to talk to us. We're not going to out you, right? You can come in and
nobody else will know you're there.
That's right.
You're hidden behind your curtain.
That's right. If that's what you want.
Yeah, exactly. But we always constantly trying to think of different ways that we can add more value to your all's life, because as well as we do when we're on this podcast. We talk about value.
Absolutely.
So, we straight up walk our talk, yep. And we want you guys to win. So, yep. Matt,
yep.
Anything else to add before I put a little bow on it?
When you get your KPIs together, guys, just pick one. Yeah. When you pick your sourcing, just pick one. Just lean into one of those. Don't go crazy and try to go into 96 of them and write things down. As much as we love a whiteboard, you don't need a whiteboard filled up with a bunch of shit, right?
Yeah,
just
we should talk about those KPIs on our next podcast.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we'll dig into that, right? Because I know some of the people are not in some of our masterminds, right? So absolutely, yeah, we can talk about some of those KPIs for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome, guys. Well, we appreciate it so much. I'd like to thank Matt for showing up today.
Hey, and I'd like to thank Ben for actually telling us how he feels today, right? What's up, Ben?
Yeah, it's like I try and keep it secret, right? Because it's like if
Mr. Secret
everybody's
Agent,
like, I'm really worried about how Ben's doing. Right? I know that's why they tune in, and they finally found out.
Yep, today, episode 497,
258. I'm spectacular. So hopefully that wasn't a letdown. Well, guys, wherever you listen to this, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, what's up? Hit that red subscribe button, that bell right beside it, to get notified every time we drop a new episode. There's no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. Check out all the cool things we have to help you grow your brokerage, no matter what stage or phase of the business that you're in. Please, please, please send me that email, just like I said before, ben@prospectboomerang.com. Let me know if you are overloaded or not overloaded. And you know what? Anybody who does that, I'm gonna send you a really cool guide.
Yeah.
I'll find something that I can send you that you're gonna be like, man, I'm really glad that I did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a little bonus for listening all the way to the end of the podcast,
and
even through the credits. All right, guys. Well, that being said, Matt.
Yep.
We do everything for one reason and one reason alone, brother. Tell them what it is.
To find out how Ben feels. Oh, I'm sorry.
Two
That's
reasons.
not that.
2 reasons.
Then there's 2 reasons. Because we just want to be part of your win, guys.
See you guys.
See it.